Hey, Sarah, can we test your sound? Because sometimes you're just a little loud. Could we? Um,
Can you hear me?
yeah, a little bit too well, I think.
Sorry, I missed that. Could you say it again, please?
Siri wants to talk to me.
How's this? How if I just kind of speak a little quieter?
Yeah, yeah. Hi, Red.
I project, I know.
Hello.
Hello.
Wow.
I used to. All righty, let's call to order Town of Basalt Planning and Zoning Commission meeting Tuesday, September 1st, 2020. Roll call, please.
Okay, and just note that it's 7:40. Bill Marin?
6:40.
No.
6:40, sorry, 6:40. Bill Marin?
Yo.
Joan Keefe, absent. Gino Rossetti?
Here.
Eric Volzick?
Here.
Tracy Bennett?
Here.
Bernie Grauer?
Here.
Rob Levitt?
Present.
We have a quorum.
All righty, let's approve the minutes for September 1st, 2020. Does anyone have any changes or additions to make to this? If not, do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
We have a first by Rob. Second?
Second.
Gino. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
6-0. Okay,
And let's go to item 3A, public hearing, 11 Durox Lane, application. Susan, Sarah, are you doing this one?
That's me, yep. If I get too loud, Susan, just give me a wave, okay?
okay, I'll do that. Time out. Wait a second. Sarah, time out. We have to recall the Zoom.
Welcome to Zoom. Enter your meeting ID followed by pound. Enter your participant ID followed by pound. You are in the meeting now. There are 10 participants in the meeting.
Cool, thanks.
Okay, Sarah, you might as well start at the beginning. Sorry, we lost the Zoom. So when I do this, everybody kind of call it so that we can reboot the
Okay.
Zoom. Okay.
Reboot Zoom.
So Susan, who joined us on the phone? Is that you?
The 4701 is the Zoom phone. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's grassroots, right?
That's just our office phone.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's the town hall number.
Yeah.
All righty, let's continue. Sarah?
Okay, so I just introduced myself and the applicant, which is Mr. Red Cunningham, who's here with us tonight. And this is an application to reinstate and amend the approvals granted by ordinance number 6, series of 2018, which granted site plan and special review approval at 11 Durox Lane. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Oh, maybe not. host disabled participant. Can I share my screen, Susan?
Just a second.
I'm sorry. We'll get this down one of these days as far as these newfangled Zoom calls.
Okay, just a second. Okay, you should be able to share your screen now.
Yes, excellent, thank you. We're looking good here. I'm gonna start from the beginning here. Okay, so just to orient you to the location, this is this triangle-shaped parcel that's on Willets Lane, adjacent to Hooks Lane, before you go over that bridge there. This is lot 4 of the Basalt Industrial Park. The site's currently improved with 2 single-story structures. It has this larger building which houses Red's business, which is Home Helpers Restoration, and the smaller building is a storage garage associated with the business. In 2018, the P&Z reviewed a request by the applicant for a special review and site plan review to allow the construction of 3 residential units to be built on the 2nd story above the main building, as well as the addition of 275 square feet of commercial space. This elevation shows you what was approved and what the P&Z saw at that time. The P&Z ultimately supported the application, and it was later also supported by the town council and approved. So the 2018 site plan was approved with 7 on-site parking spaces associated with the industrial use. And these are, you can see my arrow, these spaces at the front and over to the side on the main property, as well as parking spaces at the rear of the site that were for the industrial use. So the residential parking, again, located at the rear of the site, but is on site, accessed through going up Dark Lane and turning onto lot 3. And so this condition required the applicant to complete and record an access agreement with that owner of lot 3. So ultimately, this agreement was unable to be completed, and it resulted in the need to rework the site plan in order to accommodate the residential parking in a new location on the site. So the applicant has come back with a new site plan and is asking for the P&Z to provide council tonight with a recommendation to approve that site plan, as well as to reinstate that 2018 approvals that were found in Ordinance 6 series of 2018 with the proposed amendment. And this reinstatement, just to clarify, is necessary because the approving ordinance required the applicant to record the site plan within 180 days of that approval. And knowing that he was unable to provide the parking that was approved in that site plan, Red knew he was going to need to rework that site plan, and ultimately was not recorded. But as I said, he has submitted a new site plan. This new site plan has the 6 parking spaces associated with the residential use located on the site here, accessed directly from Durox Lane. And the 5 parking spaces have been maintained for the industrial use at the front of the site. So with this in mind, staff has identified some issues for discussion with the P&Z tonight. And the first, you'll notice that the parking was reduced from 13 total spaces in the 2018 plan to 11 total spaces in this 2020 plan. Just kind of a review of how parking is calculated. We are dealing with two different calculations here. For that industrial use, the calculation is based upon floor area. Given the floor area on the site, the requirement is 5 parking spaces. For the residential use, it's calculated per bedroom. So a 2-bedroom is going to require 2 parking spaces. A 1-bedroom is 1.5 parking spaces, rounded up to 2. The proposed residential use is 2 2-bedrooms and 1 1-bedroom. So we round that up to 6 parking spaces total associated with the residential. And the 2018 site plan was approved with those 13 total parking spaces, and those 2 additional, I'm going to go back to show you, those 2 additional were going to be associated with the industrial use. Essentially, we're an overage, and that's the way it was approved. So staff is supportive of the configuration of the new site plan with some conditions. And those conditions include that the parking for the residential use is to be signed and assigned to the residential units. You know, we have a a bit of concern that those residential parking spaces might be taken over by the industrial use on the site, and want to ensure that that's properly signed, delineated with wheel stops as well as lined. And we also preclude the use of those residential spaces for snow storage or non-operational vehicle storage. We also discussed the pedestrian movement through the site. Staff has recommended that the applicant create a more conducive situation or environment for the tenants and guests of the site by creating a protected pathway from the rear of the site, shown in this kind of hatched line I've created, starting at the rear of the site, kind of near adjacent to the area where residents would be accessing those upper story residential units. Through the site, through that, the rear of the site, through the existing fence by way of a gate, to the existing pocket park and to the Willis Trail that's just beyond. That we're recommending that pedestrian pathway be a minimum of 7 feet in width and protected by a barrier such as a low wall or a fence in order to protect the tenants and users of that trail from the industrial use of the site. There's no transit conflicts there. Staff did initially discuss recommending a sidewalk to be created. Oh, sorry, this is actually a view of the site where someone could come through the fence and kind of pop out to this pocket park and make their way right here to that existing Willis Trail, and either head up towards Willis Town Center or across the way and continue maybe back towards 82 in the other direction. So we did initially recommend or discuss a recommendation of creating a sidewalk along Durox Lane that'd be adjacent to the residential parking spaces, which would be accessed up this way. However, it was ultimately decided that this was not the best way to provide protection for pedestrians at the site. The sidewalk would end at Willis Lane, and it would force the users to either cross Willis Lane where there is no crosswalk, or to walk up Willis Lane headed north towards that stop sign in order to access the Willis Lane trail. So this was just perceived as a safer option in order to make it a more pedestrian friendly and provide some protection. The sidewalk is something the town may want to pursue in the future, but these improvements are really more than can be expected to be associated with this application or to be put on with the applicant. So there might be something you see in the future that's just a town project. Some additional items to discuss. We did, of course, send this out to all referral agencies. Every referral agency was ultimately supportive of the application and echoed their comments from the 2018 application. The Mid-Valley Metro did include that the applicant should verify the size of the service line to the property, ensure that it is adequately sized to service the 3 residential units prior to building permit. So that's something that he'll want to check in with Mid-Valley about. Staff's also included language requiring that the fencing and building materials meet the town's new firewise mitigation requirements. And as a note, in 2018, the applicants agreed to provide the town with access to bib hose, the water, the landscape at the pocket park that's adjacent to the fence and to the property. And just to let you know, that water agreement was executed and has been recorded with Eagle County. So in conclusion, staff is supportive of the new site plan, and the applicant's requested to reinstate those approvals with the conditions as granted in 2018 and amended currently. And staff suggests that you hear from the applicant and ask any questions you may have, and then open up this public hearing for public comments. And just to note, we've not received any public comment prior to this meeting. So I will go ahead and turn that over to the applicant if you'd like to discuss.
Sarah, why don't you stop sharing your, yeah, perfect.
Yep.
That's pretty well said, Sarah, frankly. We're happy to put that walkway in to get people over to the path kind of on the backside there to make sure they're safe. I definitely agree it's best not to put people out to that stop sign there, that three-way stop sign or three-way intersection. So I'm pretty sure Sarah covered it. Oh, I guess I'd say, yeah, it's unfortunate that Sunny had a change of heart on the parking. There was nothing that happened between us. She had some personal issues with a shared driveway on another property, and she didn't want to enter in an agreement with a shared space again, because it just led to some complications for her. And she didn't want to do that again, which I completely understand. So we had to start over on the parking.
Alrighty, that's understood. Sarah and Red, are you guys done? Are you ready for questions?
I believe so.
Okay, good. Let's open this up to commissioner questions, then we'll open a public hearing after that, and then go on to comments. So, Tracy, do you want to start with questions of the applicant?
Oh, I don't have any at this time.
All right,
So I'm
Gino,
good.
do you have any questions? Thank you, Tracy. You're muted. Gino, you're muted.
Hold it, just, that's my bad. I was getting a lot of feedback. Let me unmute everybody. I'm sorry. I have to, in fact, just a second. I'm unmuting. Bernie, you muted yourself. Gino muted himself. So you guys need to do *6 to unmute yourself.
Yeah, I think I'm on.
Hold it, Gino, just a second. Gino wants to speak and,
He's muted.
Gino, do *6.
He's unmuted.
There.
Okay.
Can you
There
hear
you go, Gino.
Can you?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Sorry, you're gonna have to repeat yourself, though.
Well, if only you can hear me. Just ask him, I just want to make sure I'm reading it right, that the pedestrian walkway will tie into that bike pathway going alongside Willis. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. That, as we did a site walk, Sarah and I, with, I can't remember who the other gentleman was
James.
there that was with us.
Perfect, thank you.
And
I have no questions.
All right, thank you, Gino. Rob, do you have any questions of the applicant or staff?
I do. Is this Eagle County or is this Town of Basalt?
Town of Basalt.
Okay. And this was, this is an industrial site. Do we have to change the zoning for residential?
No, it's the residential is a permitted use through special review. So,
Are we doing the special review now, or was that 2018?
well, the special review was granted in 2018, and this, due to the site plan not being recorded within 180 days, it is basically something that would need to be reinstated, that special review, in order to allow the housing to exist on that lot.
And is that something we're going to vote on?
Yes,
It
that's
is
what you're
part of-
recommending tonight to the town council. You're reinstating the 2018 site plan review and special review with amendments. That's what you're doing.
Susan cut out there at the beginning. Yes, we are.
Yes, you
Voting
are,
on the-
you are voting the P&Z is voting on their recommendation. Remember, you're recommending to the town council, you're voting on your recommendation on the special review approval, which is necessary to have the three, you can't hear me? Are we, Sarah, can you hear me? Okay, we'll stop, okay. Enter. This is second time.
Welcome to Zoom. Enter your meeting ID followed by pound. Enter your participant ID followed by pound. Otherwise, just press You are in the meeting now. There are 10 participants in the meeting.
That portion of special review. Nothing regarding the housing on the site has changed. Really, it's just to do with the parking and then staff's addition of that pedestrian pathway through the site. But yes, your recommendation would include, if you agree with that reinstatement of those approvals from 2018, which is special review.
So Sarah and Susan, this is one motion and one vote.
Yes, that's correct. Just like a lot of times, we have a lot of different requests going on, so it's just one motion.
Okay.
Thanks
Roger,
for
does that answer
clarifying
your
that.
question?
One other question. From the new parking places, where's the access to the residences?
You want that, Sarah, or you want me to do it?
Oh, if you'd like to describe it, please feel free.
So as you're looking, it would be on the, is the parkers pulling in on the right side, you should see a staircase possibly drawn into that. On the site plan, on the top of that plan, there's a staircase, and that staircase has a landing on top of it that accesses all 3 units.
Okay, that's great.
And so
I couldn't tell if which side of the building they were going to.
that's not the best rendering to be able to see, so it's not bad by you. You might be able to see it on, if you touch the second photo down from the top there with the rendering, you can see the back of the building. The one on the right there, that's kind of, yes, you can see but now the difference is this rendering doesn't show the fence on the proper side because that parking has moved. Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Rob. Bernie, do you have any questions of staff or the applicant?
The applicant, are these going to be rental or for sale units?
It's in what your guys, well, they're the rentals, and it's in your guys' approvals that they are not condos. They are rental units. They're not available for individual condominiumization.
Okay.
Is that the question?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, are you done, Bernie?
Yes.
Good, thank you. Eric, do you have any questions of staff or applicant?
Nope.
Okay. All right, thank you. Neither do I. So let's open this up for a public hearing, Susan, at 7:01.
Okay, I've got the 2-minute clock going, and so far we don't have any emails or text messages. And just to remind folks that if you're watching on TV, you email planning@basalt.net, or you text 970-379-1514 with your name and your phone number, and then we will give you a call. So we're just waiting for our shot clock.
Surprised you don't have the Jeopardy theme song countdown going.
Oh, Red, we're just starting this, so, maybe we'll figure that out.
Right. A lot of learning going on.
Well, the disappointing thing is that we thought we had the Zoom drop calls. We spent a lot of time with Pro Velocity, and it happened just one time at the council meeting, and we've already had 2 times, and we've only been meeting about 20 minutes. So they thought that they had actually solved it. So that's very disappointing. We'll get this figured out. Hopefully we get it figured out before we go back to our real-time meeting. So we're really starting the countdown now.
I'll tell you, as the newbie, you guys have to do this all the time, but as the newbie doing it, it seems pretty fluid, even with the interruptions. So I'm sure it probably gets more frustrating because you have to do it more than I do, but it's pretty nice being able to do this from work.
For a lot of us, the whole world is on Zoom now.
Yep, so we're done, and we have no public comment.
Okay, well, let's end the public comment section of the meeting at 7:03 p.m. And let's move on to commissioner comments. Again, Tracy, would you like to start with the comments, please, if you have any,
On anything?
on this project?
No. Okay. No, I didn't. It was, never mind. No.
Okay, Gino, do you have any comments about this project?
Yeah, I think it's a good project. I think it's going to be well used, and I think it's a part of our fabric that we're needing for the diversification. So I'm for it.
All right, thank you, Gino. Rob, do you have any comments to add?
Well, just going back to the zoning change, it's an odd place for residential. If you guys haven't been around the site, it's pretty industrial.
Okay. Anything
But it's
for-
also great employee housing for his employees too, so.
Is that what it's meant for?
Hopefully,
For
if
your
not my employees, certainly someone's employees as I look at it. And again, there were some rules stipulated by the previous council that there is no children allowed to live there under the age of 16. So there won't be any children there of young age for concern.
It's still an odd place for residential.
There is some, just for the record, there is some, if you've driven down and saw it, obviously, to check it out. If you go down Park, there's some others up above the Kilty building as well as Sunny Storage down on Park that's kind of in a similar spot.
I know. Yeah, thanks. That would be my public comment, Bill.
All right, thank you, Rob. Bernie, do you have any comment to make?
Yeah, I think this is a desirable infill, and with the market so overheated, taking advantage of perhaps strange nooks and crannies, I think is a very smart idea. I support it with the conditions that the staff has placed upon it.
Thank you, Bernie. Eric, do you have any comments to make?
No, I mean, Rob, we did discuss it a couple years ago that, you know, it's an odd location, not ideal, but for what was stipulated and what the use is supposed to be, I think we agreed at that point that it met the goals, larger goals of what we were trying to get across. So that's my one comment.
All right, thank you, Eric. I would like to add a comment, a couple comments actually. I supported this the last time we looked at this, and I support it now. I'm in favor of affordable housing and all sorts of nooks and crannies, as Bernie put it, and infill is always a good thing. I have never been in favor of the prohibition of children in the affordable housing component of industrial areas. I think as a kid, I would have loved to have lived in a place like that. I thought it would have been awesome. But that be it as it may, I'm overruled by council and many others, but I think we should look for diversification of all neighborhoods in all ways we can get it, and this is most definitely that. So if any of you would like to make a motion to approve this, let's do it. We have Gina.
I would like to add to my comments, since Bill, you started down that road, that if you look at what we just passed in the master plan, this housing is not near public transport. There's no green space. There's nothing sustainable that I've seen on the plans. It just seems like that stuff should be part of our conversation.
That's well noted.
I'll add to my comments.
Okay, Bernie.
I think the overriding need is to provide as much affordable employee housing to guarantee the state's economic sustainability of our community, even noting Rob's objections.
Alrighty, we have a first. Bernie, would you like to add a second?
So
Okay.
hold it. Did Gino make a motion? I didn't actually hear a motion. I just heard Gino raising his hand. I mean, I didn't even hear him raise his hand. I just saw him raise his hand. So we,
Gino, would you like to actually make a motion to approve this?
Say that just a little bit slower, Bill, what?
Would you like to make a motion to approve this recommendation as written by staff?
Definitely.
Okay.
And I also will add that I respect Rob's comments, but I still think that this is a motion for this project, and I so make it.
Okay. So Susan, we have a first and we have a second and a second to the second.
so, hold on, the first is Gino and the second is Bernie, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so this one, we do a roll call. So you ready for me to do that, Chair?
Ready
Okay.
for the roll call vote, please.
Okay, Bill Marin,
Yo.
Joan Keefe, absent, Gino Rossetti,
Yes.
Eric Volzek,
Yes.
Tracy Bennett,
Yes.
Bernie Grauer,
Aye.
Rob Levitt,
With respect to our new master plan, no.
okay, so it passes 5-1.
Alrighty, thank you, staff and applicant. Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Red, and I'll be in touch about the council hearing. I'll speak to you tomorrow about it.
Sounds terrific. Thanks y'all for your time. Have a good night.
Thank you all.
Good night, Red.
Good night.
Sarah, you did a good job presenting.
Thank you.
I know. Thanks y'all.
Okay, staff and commissioner comments. Susan, do you have any staff updates?
I think the biggest thing that's going on is we have the Stedman Clinic approval documents that are on their way, signed here, and then they'll be signed by the mayor, and so we should be recording the plat Thursday or Friday, probably Friday, and we'll be getting, you'll see a foundation permit on that project. So that's really the biggest thing that is happening. James has been working really hard on Stotts Mill, and those issues I think are Town Center, so just, working through all of those Town Center, so just, working through all of those construction management things that come up on a daily basis. Looks like the developer, another Park Modern building is moving forward, trying to get permits, foundation permits, by the end of the year. And the other thing that we've been working on is Basalt Vista. They're changing the makeup of some of their remaining units, and I'm gonna let James maybe give an update on that.
Yeah, they're adjusting 2 of their units from a 3-bedroom to a 2-bedroom. Can you guys hear me?
Can you hear? Okay.
Okay. And so in adjusting their program, they are going to be slightly over the floor area that's allowed in the R4MD zone district for a 2-bedroom unit. So they will be bringing forth a code amendment for P&Z and council to look at in regard to the square footage allowed for a 2-bedroom unit in the R4MD. The reason they're proposing this adjustment is apparently the school district is having difficulty in terms of getting demand for the 3-bedroom units. And if you remember, half of the units are for the school district up there. So you'll be seeing an amendment application coming forward probably the middle of September.
So right now, on the September 15th, which is 2 weeks from today, the town council is going to have a retreat to work on their strategic plan. So if that meeting is during the day, then we will keep our regular agenda time on. What we'll be looking at is a code amendment to the R4MD to address this building size for Basalt Vista. We have a solar project for this on the tree farm property that if we're meeting on the 15th, we're going to take to you. That's what we're going to see on the 15th. What you're going to see a little later, we're going to have a site plan review on one of those lots off of Tucker Lane. Remember, that's the Markelises subdivision. Sarah's been working on an application on that, so you'll see that probably maybe the first part of October. So that's kind of what we have in the pipeline. Eagle County's working on some changes to their housing guidelines that are, I think they have some projects that they're thinking of that they want to move forward on, so that's kind of happening and we're interested in that. Anything else, James, you think I should mention? Or Sarah?
Yeah, and you'll probably be seeing the application for Lot J of the Basalt Commercial Park. It's in the referral process now.
Lost the sound.
Can you hear me? Can you hear James?
Can you hear me?
Raise your hand if you hear James. Eric, yeah.
Good.
Okay. Yeah, you'll probably be seeing Lot J of the Basalt Commercial Park, which is currently in the TRC referral process. They're in for an amendment to the Basalt Commercial Park PUD. This is the vacant lot down past Harry Teague's building on Emma Road. And they're proposing 12 apartment units. So you'll probably see that in October at some point, late October.
And, you know, Post and the council have been working on improvements to the Arbany pool. And I think how we're looking at it is that most of the work that you're going to see immediately is in the changing rooms. We are moving the fence to make room for the robot pool and kind of pushing out the fence. And so we're not going to take that through a site plan review. We'll approve that administratively. And then when we look at the new building, there is in a subsequent phase, we're looking at a new building that's going to house the restrooms for the park, storage for the pool. There was some discussion about moving the entrance to the pool itself, and it looks like the original plan won't work for code reasons, and that will definitely come through as a site plan review that you'll be involved with, but that's a little way out. So I think those are kind of the updates that we have.
I would like to make a request. When you guys approve a big staff level thing that we aren't required to see, like those big things at Willits, like say like the Stedman building, could you just send that to us when you're all done with it so we can at least pretend that we know what's happening out there?
Sure. We can send you something.
Yeah, just a vague, like.
What we might do is we're processing a TRC certificate. We'll send you the TRC certificate, which has, you know, some of the drawings and stuff in it.
Yes.
And then if you want more, you can ask us for more.
Yeah, it's just that people say something to us about it, and we go like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And it helps to make it seem like we know what's going on.
Yeah, particularly in Willits Town Council. So there's a lot of big decisions that are made administratively. It's just the way that it's kind of set up.
That's fine. It's just keep us in the loop, like in a simple way.
Yep, we'll try to do that in a way that doesn't cause us more work, because we are really, really busy right now.
I'm trying to be sensitive of that.
I appreciate it. So that's all we have.
Alrighty, does anyone have any other steps or any other comments to make? Commissioner comments? Anything burning on your minds?
No.
So I'll just say that the guy that wants to close on that on the Clark's Market there has, I've talked to him a few times, and interesting fellow. Once I told him, you know, have you looked at our master plan? Do you know about the parking and the HOA over there and all that? And he was like, I want to do what you guys want. So we'll see if he comes through. But he sounds like he really wants to do a pretty phenomenal project. So keep your fingers crossed.
And what's his name? The guy who's going to close on that.
You know what? You would ask me that, and I have these brain freezes. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. Sorry.
How about this? Is he local?
No. No.
Huh.
No.
Do you know?
Huh?
I don't know that I know the name. I don't think it came through in the email of interest or whatever. I didn't hear the name.
Okay. Apparently Bill Kane does. Alrighty, if no one else has any comments to make, Susan, you're all done. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
First by Bernie. Second by Tracy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you all very much.
Bye all.
Have a wonderful evening.
Okay.
Ciao.
Thank you.
I gotta run and make dinner.
Goodbye.